But I have a question for you.
Okay, yeah.
So, and I was just curious about this. Um, so we were in the car driving. I know we were like talking about relationships or whatever.
Mm.
And you made the statement of, if I get in a relationship, there's a higher chance
Yeah, there's a
that
good chance
that you'll
I'm
end up
following foot. Yeah,
you'll end up getting a relationship.
yeah.
Which fair enough. 'Cause I feel like we both pretty much kind of like influence each other a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think that's smart for you right now?
Oh, that's a decent question. Do I think it's smart? It reminds me a little bit of when your mom or your dad is like, "Yo, if your friend jump off a bridge, you go jump off a bridge too." It reminds me a little bit of that. So just because your man's get a girl, now you go get a
Now
girl
you gonna
too.
get a girl
It's
too
like you
type
go
shit.
follow in foot. Simply put, no, it's not the smart decision. It's not. I know that deep down. However, it's kind of like, all right, it might not be the smart decision, but that don't mean you don't want to make that decision, you know? Also, like, we're young, you know? I understand us as men, like young men, stay focused, stay on your grind, go get the money, focus on your career, focus on your education,
Yeah.
you know, especially as young black men too, you know?
Thanks.
We already got that whole statistic against us type shit.
Type shit.
However, I'm not gay. I don't think you're gay. We like women a lot.
Facts.
We like women a lot, and you can't
You can't repress.
you can't push that away, you know, bro. Like there's only so much one man can do, and it's kind of like, but I like shorty type shit, you know. So no, I don't think it's a smart decision to make. But the reason I made the statement was just because like I know we influence each other a lot, and there's a decent chance. Not 100% chance, of course, but there is a decent chance in my mind that if you were to get in a relationship, I see that. I see you all booed up in the corner with shorty, you're doing your thing, and I'm like, all right,
I kind of.
and that might like get one to try hard compared to you don't do that, and you're just chilling.
Type shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know exactly where you're coming from, and I agree with you because I actually don't think it's the smartest move.
No.
But at the end of the day, just as men, like that's what you want.
That's what you want,
That's what we
man.
want type shit.
Especially if you
Especially
like women.
being
It's just you can't help it.
But I feel like it's like a constant battle, at least for me, like specifically. I feel like it's a constant battle because, like, one, I know, all right, I need to be working or I need to be like doing some productive. Like, this is a time period where I need to like be learning and like learning skills and stuff like that. So it's like, well, that takes time. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, I like females and I want a girl. But then I understand, okay, well, then that takes time. So it's kind of like a battle of like, where should you put your time at?
So knowing what you know now, do you think you'll end up getting into one? I know we've had conversation in the past and you've thought about it, you know.
I think it has to be the right. I think it has to be the right situation.
What counts as the right situation? What does that look like, the right situation?
I think it would have to be where I feel confident enough in myself and just really what I'm doing to where like I know she won't be a distraction in terms of like what I'm trying to do or what I'm trying to build, you know. And then she also will have to understand that as well, because some girls are a little bit more needy than others.
True.
Some girls
Yeah,
want more
yeah.
attention than others.
Yeah.
So some of that also just comes down to whoever the shorty is. She now has to understand that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that plays a huge part. Because who wants to be in a relationship with somebody that can't give them time?
Yeah. And it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to balance both.
I have to be able to balance both.
You don't think you can balance both now?
Honestly, bro, I don't know. I feel like I like to think so, yes. But what I've noticed, especially when it comes to me specifically with like women and shit like that, everything changes in like the moment.
Everything changes in the moment. Like how you feel about them in the moment, or what you mean by everything changes in the moment?
I think this is kind of like everyone has a plans to they're punched in the face. So like it's really cool to say all this shit now, but sometimes when you're kind of looking the monster in the eye, you might make a different decision.
All right, hold up. So, correct me if I'm wrong, please. From what I'm getting at, or from what I'm understanding about what you're saying, is it essentially the minute a girl comes to you now is like, all right, I want a relationship, I want those types of things, you kind of look at yourself and you gotta ask yourself, is this really what I want?
Type shit.
And I guess the answer for you right now is no. So it's kind of like, well, that's why you pull back from it.
In a way, well, I guess I never said my answer was no. I said depends on the situation.
Oh, okay.
What I'm really trying to get at is like, and I feel like a lot of men do this. It's like, okay, you say this one thing, but then when you're alone with the female and she's talking to you a certain way, you change. That's kind of what I'm talking about. And especially, that a lot in like young men like us. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, older men who have so much more experience. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes just you being older, you're just mature. You're thinking more long term compared to, even if you have a good amount of experience at our age, it's just like, you're still 20-some years old. You're still thinking for pleasure. You're still thinking for fun.
There's only so much you can control.
Compared to a 30-some-year-old man who might not be thinking for pleasure and fun. He might be thinking for longevity.
He probably already been through that too.
Type shit.
You've had those experiences.
So I think that's kind of what I meant. But I guess like, in order to stay focused, I know the easiest way to stay focused is just not to fuck with him altogether.
Yeah, at least right now.
You know what
for the time being.
Yeah,
temporarily.
But it's hard though.
No,
it's quite hard.
It doesn't help going to the gym. That's another reason why I like the gym, but I don't like the gym.
I ain't gonna lie. I've recently, like the other day, I was like, yo, maybe we should go to Crunch again.
Yeah,
that's why I brought it up. That's why I brought it up today. I was like, yo, maybe we need to go to Crunch.
Funny, that's funny. We have different reasons. The reason I want to go to Crunch is just because like it's not as crowded. I'm assuming the reason you want to go to Crunch is just there's much less like attractive women to like distract
you. It's just like there's so much less distractions.
Yeah.
Like at Crunch, it's really just.
It's just older people.
You're coming here to work.
Yeah.
That's it, bro. You're coming
folk.
here.
Not to mention the time that we go.
Is early, bro. And typically we go there, it's empty. So there's either no one in there or the people in there are all old.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah.
All right, well,
there's
there's nothing to look around. So it's like,
work out.
Lock in type shit, bro. Lock in. Compared to at Edge.
Much younger demographic.
Bitches, they're beautiful,
much
bro.
Younger demographic.
But it's
most of the girls are in shape.
Type
it's
shit.
just like, all right, man.
All around our age.
Yeah, I already have a tick because I want a girl that's in shape.
Type shit.
If I had to choose.
Bro. And it's just harder because they're right there.
Yeah.
So I notice myself, like, I notice sometimes, at least a little bit more in Edge. Like, I'm not going to say I'm not as locked in because especially with the gym, it's something I enjoy. But there's just so much more distractions. My eyes wander a lot more, man. Bro. Like
I've been trying to look down.
Yeah.
I'm like, during sets and shit, just like look down, look up, look elsewhere. I can't though.
That shit don't work, bro. That shit don't fucking work.
It don't. Not one bit, man. I don't know. I think I like ladies too much to not go after them. Also, if you were to get into a relationship, like I said earlier, there's a good chance, not 100% chance, of course, because I don't see myself as that blindly of a follower. However, if push comes to shove and I was put in the situation, I'm knowing that you were in one, I'm probably more likely to be like, all right. Yeah,
it's like he can handle it, I can handle it.
I'll try. I know. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's the smartest thing to do. But kind of like we said earlier, just at the end of the day, being a young man, it's kind of like, that's what you want.
But ask yourself, what's unsmart about it?
Well, I think it depends what you want from yourself as a man, what you're trying to grow. So I think what's unsmart about it is...
I think the only thing that's smart about it is the fact that you can possibly get pregnant before you're ready for that.
That's the only thing you think that's unsmart?
That's what I can think of right now, yeah.
I also think it's... if you're not financially stable, it can fuck up your finances because you're going to have to pay for something. I think also, too, is like, as much as women are, like, fantastic, at times they could be a distraction. At times, anything could be a distraction. So it's like, if you're trying to build something, like, imagine if you are trying to build something, or if you want to use this podcast, we're trying to build this podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you see kind of how we structure ourselves in terms of recording and editing and all that other stuff, right?
Okay, yeah.
So now if you bring a girl into that, where is she going to fit into all that? You're going to have to, something has to be sacrificed.
That's true.
Because you see what your time is now.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to sacrifice something, whether it's maybe sacrifice recording a little bit here and there or moving this around to here, sacrifice editing, maybe staying up later on one day to edit just so you can spend time with her. But, like, you're going to have to sacrifice something along the way. So now it's like, do you want to... It could be a bad thing because, one, do you want to sacrifice? Do you now want to add something else into your schedule that could affect everything?
I don't want to disagree with you too harshly because I do agree with that.
Yeah.
However, in my opinion, I believe time management is important, and if you can manage your time correctly, you can work her in, and depending on the type of woman that she is, she can possibly be there to help you with your endeavors, whatever you're trying to do.
I agree with that. I agree with that. But I still think, especially young men, majority.
Because what if she's like, yo, I'll help you with your editing? She's like, you can sit here and record, and I'll sit here on the computer. I'll try to edit, try to do what I gotta do, try to help out, try to post your clips, try to get your stuff out there, try to tell people to come on the show.
Now, if she's about that, all means. But like, what's the chance you're gonna find a girl to do that?
I know it probably isn't that high.
You know what I'm saying?
I know it's not high, but there is still the possibility.
Well, of course, if she's down like that, okay, cool. But I don't think majority of women nowadays is gonna do that. No. For us, no. If I get a girl tomorrow, I don't see her being like, okay, I'm gonna come over, and when you're done recording, I'll edit it, and then I'll sit through the clips.
But hear me out. It might not be tomorrow, but maybe over the time y'all spending together, she's like, yo, this guy's really cool. And like I want to see him grow, so I'm gonna try to help him with his endeavors.
Listen, I understand that, but I just don't see. Not that I don't see that happening, but just like in today's age, how like dating is for both men and women. Like people just really aren't, because that's a sacrifice on her end.
Yeah.
Because now she's also buying into something that's like, now maybe she could see a future with me, sure, but like I just don't see her doing a lot of that. And then also that comes down to, like, all right, you really think that you gonna meet a girl, she gonna edit the podcast for us, nigga? It's like, come on now, like you trying to edit the podcast, post the clip.
I'm not.
You see how long that should take us 8 hours sometimes.
I'm not saying she's gonna do that every time. I'm not saying she's gonna do that the first week you meet her. What I am saying is this: when you meet a woman and they really like you,
of course,
they're really into you. If you've been with her for however long, say 8 months, 9 months, pushing a year,
okay.
Their way of trying to keep you is by doing things that essentially makes your life better.
Okay.
It's the same thing with them. We do things that makes their life better. Like, exactly. So if she wants to keep you around, what if she was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to help out where I can. And it can not only just be the podcast. Maybe she wants to like cook and clean for you. She's like, you know what, I'm gonna clean up your apartment, make sure you're all good, make sure you have your meals before you go off to work and shit like that. Just find guests for you for the show and shit.
I don't disagree with you, but you also said if you guys were together for 8 months, 9 months, you said so. But what I guess
y'all got time together to where she's like, But
I guess what I'm trying to say is like, yes, that's a possibility, but it takes a decent amount of time to get there.
Yeah.
And you have to sacrifice in the beginning in hopes that she's going to do all that later on, because she's not going to do that day one. Day one, she's just going to want to chill with you. It ain't going to be about, let's edit the podcast together.
That makes sense.
She's going to want to chill with you. So you will you have to, in the beginning, you would have to sacrifice something to give to her to build that relationship in hopes that she stays around a year later.
Yep.
And she's willing to edit the podcast with you, clean for you, cook
but you
for
you could just have her over. So like, she's like, hey, I want to hang out with you. Like, all right, cool, come over. But I'm editing
the podcast.
Yeah, so she comes over while you're editing, and she just sees the process.
Yeah, of course.
And over time, maybe she likes it enough. She's like, what, maybe I can help.
But I think a lot of it's just if she likes it enough, if she's willing to. That's why I think it also depends on the type of girl. Because if you think about it, if she's over and we're editing the podcast, I ain't going to be giving her my attention. I'm giving the podcast my attention.
I think you'd be giving both. You'd be doing both. It'd be no different than me and you editing the podcast. I'm just sitting there watching you do your thing, and you're just editing.
Yeah, but my point exactly. You watch me do my thing as I'm editing.
We still converse. We still like, yo, what you think about this?
Yeah, but that's
what you think about this?
Because that's like the business aspect.
But you can talk to Shorty about those things too.
That's true, but there are certain things I probably won't like. Your insight on the podcast will be different than her insight. Why? Because this is our business. This ain't her business. She just my shorty, and I'm doing this. But this ain't hers. So like, I might ask her like her opinion on certain things, but I'm more likely to turn and ask you your opinion because this is ours. Like, this is our face, our image, likeness. That's being pushed.
And that makes sense. I get that. I do. But you have Shorty there. You could just use her as an extra. It's kind of like two minds are better than one.
Yeah, true.
Say cool. You're recording an episode, or not recording an episode. Excuse me. You're editing an episode. I ain't there right now. It's just you and Shorty. Yeah. You can't rely on me at that point. It's like, I'm not gonna ask Trey. Trey out here.
Yeah,
ask her. Like, yo, what you think about this thumbnail? Boom, got a thumbnail. Cause Shorty was like, yeah, I think this one's real cool. I think the ladies might like this. Get some female viewership type shit.
Okay.
Get some of her friends to watch.
I can see. I can see where you're coming from. But I still don't. I would still, of course, I would ask her for input. But like, if you're not there, I would just kind of. At that point, there were many times where I had the podcast, you weren't here, or you were working, you were asleep, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it was just me.
So you just take the realm because that's what you have to do.
Yeah, so that's how I would look at it. I might ask her for her opinion here and there, but I don't think I would always ask. I think it truly depends. And I just don't see, and I just truly don't see, at least like maybe just not right now. Maybe I just haven't met a girl like this, so I could just truly be wrong. But like for a female to completely buy into like what your dream is or what you're trying to build is like huge. And I have yet to find a girl today in the modern era that I feel like will be willing to like buy all the way into where they're going to be sitting with me while I'm editing the podcast, or they're going to take the reins and edit it for me, or try to get guests for me. Like at that point, Shorty's working for the company. At that point, Shorty's the secretary making calls.
Yeah.
And like I just don't see that happening currently, right now. Now I could be wrong. Maybe just the women I have dealt with just haven't conveyed that. Women I've talked to just haven't conveyed that. Maybe that's why. Maybe I've yet to come across a quality woman like that. Fair enough. I'm 23. Fine. I'll eat that. I'll eat that. But at the same time, it's just like
That's just what you see.
that's a big bro. That's like you dating a girl and you doing her shit for her. Like imagine if it was like the roles reversed. Imagine if she had a podcast. Would you come over and edit her shit for her? Would you come over and post all her clips for her? Would you come over? Or you know what? Maybe you would, but you definitely wouldn't do that shit in the beginning.
Well, no, of course I wouldn't. I don't think anyone would do it in the beginning, but I think
it's just a lot for someone to buy, like to really buy in. And then obviously, if she did really buy in, I would be more than happy. That'd be fantastic help. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. Like I would be ecstatic if Shorty came over and was doing all that shit to me. I will forever be grateful for it. But just currently, with modern women and just how modern dating is, I just don't see a female fully buying in. Or maybe she will buy in, but you're going to have to sacrifice in the beginning because you have to give her time. You have to build that rapport to where she wants to buy in, where she believes what you believe about what you're building. And that takes time. So that's why I think and I guess that kind of goes full circle back to what I was saying before. You were like, the only bad thing about getting a girl now is pregnancy. That's a fact. That's number one. Like I'm with that. I'm with that. I'm not even arguing that. Not arguing that. But I guess my also point is like, if you are trying to build something, whatever that is, even if it's not a company, but just like trying to like become a lawyer in school, trying to do a trade, trying to just better yourself, there is a chance that a female could be a distraction because you're now going to have to give her.
Do you think it's a greater chance? Do you think more often than not they're going to be a distraction than to help me?
I think when you're young, yeah.
They're going to more often be a distraction.
I believe so.
All right. Well, listen, I can't listen to you talk for the past 5 minutes.
Little monologue.
I can't. You make a good point. And what you said was essentially like, it's very hard to find girls that'll do that.
She gotta fuck with you, bro. She
era.
gotta fuck with you.
And
she's doing your work for you.
I can't disagree because I feel like the type of woman that would do what I guess I was explaining is very few and far between. Of course, there could be a couple American girls out there that would do that, but actually, in my personal opinion, I feel like you're more likely to get that kind of help from
overseas.
Yeah, from a girl from like abroad than like back at home.
Because then you also got to think too, like, what does she have with her life?
Yeah, she probably has ambitions, shit she want to do too, and
so does she have the time to, And it's different if you put Shorty on payroll, because then you paying her. But like her to just do it out the kindness of her heart, she has other ambitions. She might have work. She might.
But this is gonna be a controversial statement. But it's kind of like, well, why do your this might sound a little bit misogynistic too, I guess. But it's like, why do your ambitions matter? Your ambitions don't feed the family. You know what I mean? Because like the man is what goes out and
like
provide.
Yeah.
All women expect that.
Well, it's just
all of you expect that. Now, I'm not talking about the ladies who don't want men. I'm not talking about the ladies who are lesbians. I'm not talking about the ladies who want to be independent. Okay, cool. Do what you want to do. I'm talking about this. The regular traditional girls. They want guys who are the one who are kind of going out there getting it. So wouldn't it be smart for them to essentially push your advances and trying to separate and pushing their own advances?
yeah,
It doesn't benefit
I
anybody
think
at that
that'd be
point.
smart, yeah. But I mean, the modern day is, you know, women can do everything that a man can. So she's like, I can provide for myself. I can do all my things. I have my own ambitions. I have my own goals. I want to do this. I want to do that, which is perfectly fine. You can have that.
Yeah.
But I think with the ideology you bring forward is much more traditional. I don't think we live in a traditional world where the wife is now going to help her husband kind of build. We hope to find a woman like that, of course. But now, today and age, it's like the man is building and then the wife is building.
So we're just both building
So it's
separately.
like you're both, you know what I mean? You both have your own careers. You both have your own jobs. You both are both trying to climb that ladder compared to, okay, yes, as a female, I'm going to have my job, but like my husband is the one who's mainly going to be bringing in the money, and I'm going to do whatever I can to support him, and whatever he needs, I will help him so he can grow his brand, because I know females ain't thinking like that.
But I mean, if they did think,
I think it also depends on the type of niggas you fucking with.
true. Yeah.
And especially now,
because not every guy has ambition.
Exactly, and I especially think now, especially in today's and age, with the young men, it kind of just shows like, you know, they say men aren't being men anymore.
A lot of them are lost.
And a lot of them are lost. And I think a lot of men too just don't, especially young men, just don't have ambition.
Nah.
So it's like, how do you expect a woman to help you grow something if you don't even got an ambition?
I will say it's quite hard to have ambition with a world that beats you down so much, though.
Yeah, that's true.
It beats down those who try hard, and it pushes up those who don't. So it's kind of like, well, why even have that ambition to try hard in the first place when you see niggas out there being successful for barking like dogs and doing stupid shit?
Because at the end of the day, you still are broke or you still have nothing. So you still
That's
gotta
true.
find
Most of them are broke, but I feel on average, and I wish I kind of had like stats to back this up, but I don't. So really, just take my words with a grain of salt, please. I feel on average, all of them aren't just homeless. There's not a whole bunch of just young homeless men.
No.
So like they're surviving. They might not be millionaires and billionaires, but like, you know, they're still living like paycheck to paycheck, so they're still making their way.
Yeah, but I think it kind of just depends on the type of life.
I mean, I think about the entire team. Team's 10 niggas. They're all surviving.
Yeah.
Only one of them, I think, has like a girl, and all the other ones are just cool.
Okay, fair. But
I think that's happening more often than not in the world we live in.
But then what? I guess I can understand what you're saying, but then what is the only thing to do is just to give up? So like just cause
Nah, not to give up, but like why even bother trying to fight the fight when you can just live a mediocre life, essentially? I'm not arguing for that.
Yeah.
I'm just
I mean,
trying to
listen,
see the
bro,
other side.
it's hard to say because comfort is nice. So it's like it's just truly just what you want.
It reminds me a little bit of that video you were telling me about a while
It's
back.
like people will always prefer comfort. They will
Yeah.
always choose comfort.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why they would live a mediocre life, which is perfectly fine. It's just not to want ambitions. But I just think, yes, I can understand. Like sometimes, like working hard is like. Sometimes you working hard, it could be overlooked. You know, somebody would do something that they didn't work as hard as you, and now all of a sudden they kind of take off and they're doing great, and you're sitting there like, damn. But at the same time, it's also like, well, if you quit, then you'll never get. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, dream is over.
you can work hard, and not make it. But then as soon as you stop working hard,
Yeah,
and
definitely
just give
not gonna
up,
make
then
it.
you're definitely not going to
Definitely
make
not
it.
gonna make it.
So now it's kind of just like, well, how badly do you want this dream?
True.
Now, if you don't want it that badly, okay, cool. But if you do want it bad enough, then it's kind of like, well, you kind of have to keep working. It's kind of just figure it out. Some people have it easier, yeah, but some people have it harder.
So couldn't you say the same thing for getting that kind of a woman though?
In terms of,
You were essentially saying you can't give up. So yes, of course, we know that woman is very hard to find, but
Yeah.
essentially, like, you can't give up and trying to find her.
yeah, of course. I never said I was going to give up trying to find her.
But if you don't look, then how you gonna find her?
I never said I'm not looking. I said I'm not necessarily sure if I'm going to get in a relationship or if that's the smartest thing for me to do. Once again, I never said I was against getting in a relationship. I said if it's the right situation.
If it's the right situation.
I said if it's the right situation, I would get into a relationship.
Did I ask you
Alright.
what the right situation would look like? I think I did.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So then I'm not, because I'm definitely an advocate of you shouldn't just give up, because once you give up, it's over. And that same goes with a girl. As soon as you give up, it's over. But you could kind of, I feel like, to a certain extent, I mean, like I said, I'm not really looking for a shorty to like edit my podcast for me. Like that's not really a.
Yeah, that was just an example.
That was just an example.
was
That's
just
not really like a criteria I
what
have.
you're
Like
looking
nah,
for, yeah.
like when
You
it comes
expect
to
yourself to do those
yes,
type of
yes.
things.
This is a me and you type of thing.
Yeah.
This is our.
Yeah.
So I expect me and you to do the work. I'm not looking for anybody
Of
else.
course.
If they want to help, beautiful.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's volunteering though. Like you're choosing to do that.
Yeah, you're choosing to do that. But I do believe before you even kind of get with a girl, like just while you're like talking to her and get to know her, you could kind of like you just pick up on things. You kind of see, and obviously you truly never know because sometimes some people are very good at hiding their true colors and stuff like that. But if you kind of just take your time and like get to know whoever the person is without rushing into it, I think you can kind of understand the type of girl she is.